website and checking up and following up and see if they got it.
Love it. So that's awesome. That's awesome, awesome, awesome. And you did all the work. So thank you for the gratitude, and I am grateful for you. Who's next, guys?
Thank you.
Yeah.
I guess I haven't really spoken this week. So, well, I want to second Tamika's gratefulness to you. But I'm super excited. I'm actually sad and excited at the same time because I'm leaving Colorado where my son lives, and I'll start driving home on Monday. But I'm super excited to get my business started. I already started ordering my little giveaways to walk around my neighborhood, started formulating my marketing, I can't wait to get home and just get started.
Love it. Love it, love it, love it. And I'm so glad that you've had this time with your son. That's awesome. Hang on to those memories and enjoy the drive home. And look forward to seeing you.
My husband's staying. I'm coming. My son has challenges, so he's going to stay with him for a few more weeks, and then I'll be back.
Got it.
Yep.
Good. Look forward to seeing you. Who's next, guys?
I'm back.
Tamika.
I am grateful. I am grateful for Alex Kablikis for checking in on me every single morning to make sure I'm on this call.
Wow, so nice.
That's awesome. Alex, you're changing lives. Who's next, guys? Okay, so there's got to be more than Diane and Tamika. Someone not named Diane or Tamika, jump in here and share.
I was on mute, so I got the bar that says you're on mute. So I have great news. I got 3 agents in the program. They're brand new. One is making an offer today, working with a buyer. She just jumped right in, so I'm really excited. And 2 other agents who are sticking to the scripts, and they are working 2 rentals. And it's exciting because he sent me a text and he said, I called the rental lead you gave me. She's on board with me. I made sure to stick to the script and ask the important questions. So very excited for their production.
Love it. Great job, Victoria. You're doing a great job. And you, like Alex, are changing lives. Keep up the great work with your coaching program. That's just awesome. All right, so guys, what we're going to do is we're going to spend the entire call, believe it or not, on one page. And I'm on page 132 of The Millionaire Real Estate Agent. And we're going to talk about lead conversion. And Vicki, I saw that you're on the call. Thank you for your email. I did respond. And a lot of what we're going to cover today is for you. So pay close attention because we're going to talk about the path from lead generation to appointments to follow up to getting listings to putting properties under contract. So in the middle of the page, Gary says, appointments converted to seller and buyer listings converted to sales equals gross income. So one more time, because it's simple and you may not pay attention and you really need to dissect this statement. Appointments converted to seller and buyer listings. So I'm going to stop right there. I'm going to ask a question. We're going to go on a listing appointment. We're sitting down at the table. We're talking to a seller. And what's the difference between going on a listing appointment and getting the listing? What's the difference between converting 25% of those into listing appointments and converting 75% of those into listing appointments? If all of you on this call had a listing appointment today, are you confident that you would get the listing? Question number 1. The next question would be, what does your listing presentation sound like? I guess maybe another question would be, do you have a listing presentation? Or are you just going to show up at the table and talk and go through comparables, and that's pretty much it? I guess maybe the rest of the conversation, you're just kind of winging it. And here's the challenge. The challenge is that Can you do that and get listings? The answer is yes, you absolutely can. And there are many real estate agents who do. The problem with that is we can get fooled into a false sense of security. I've got this. And in reality, that may be true on that appointment. Is it true on the next appointment? If you had 20 list appointments in the next 30 days, are you confident that you would get all 20 listings? What if you were competing against other real estate companies and other real estate agents who maybe have more experience than you do or have more market share than you do? What if you're competing against real estate agents who are willing to cut their commission in order to get the listing? Are you confident that you're still going to get the listing? And number one, have you created a word for word listing presentation that you deliver every time? The second question is, at what level have you mastered that? And when you get to a point where you are in unconscious competence on a listing appointment, is when you go from converting 25% of those listing appointments to converting 100% of those listing appointments. By the way, when you get to that point, what's that do for your confidence when you're on the phone making calls? I mean, Eddie, if I know that I'm gonna crush this listing appointment, I'm on the phone today and I'm dialing, talking to sellers, and a seller says, sure, of course, come on over. What's my first thought? I've got this. Or, holy cow, now what?
I got this.
Yeah, I believe you do. And I believe there's a lot of real estate agents who would say, I'm not so sure. So what's the solution to that? Well, first of all, work on your listing presentation.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say that, I mean word for word. What do you say from the moment you show up at the front door, as you tour the home, to you're sitting down at the kitchen table, you're having a conversation with the seller? What does that conversation sound like? Word for word. How do you convey your value? What's your unique value proposition? In a seller's market, maybe your value proposition is, I'm going to put your home in the MLS, I'm going to place a sign in the front yard, and I'm going to pray that somebody will bring a buyer. Right? That's the 3 Ps. And again, does that work? Yep, it does. When the market's hot, that'll work. And eventually it won't.
Mm-hmm.
When you get hit with a tough objection, how do you overcome that? Are you going to be able to overcome that? Are you going to get the listing? All right, I said one sentence and we're 10 minutes into this coaching call. I'm going to move on and we'll come back to that. All right, so appointments converted to seller and buyer listings. Appointments converted to seller and buyer listings converted to sales equals gross income. Conversion rates are the key variables in your income equation. If you step back and look at your economic model, we talked about that yesterday. If you step back and look at your economic model, something should stand out big and bold to you. Converting leads to appointments and converting appointments to listings are huge drivers of your economic success. At the bottom of the page, Gary says, make no mistake. Mastering your presentations. I think I just spent about 10 minutes talking about that. Mastering your presentations, scripts, and dialogues is what will drive your conversion ratios. So in this book, we've got these little gray squares where we have quotes from millionaire real estate agents. By the way, the idea behind the book, Millionaire Real Estate Agent, is agents who are earning $1 million in commissions. Every agent that is interviewed that is in this book, this was written back in 2002. Every agent that is in this book is earning over $1 million a year in commissions. The quote on this page comes from Gary and Nikki Baldini. Imagine that. And for those of you who know me, you know that I started as a real estate agent, as a listing specialist on the Gary and Nikki team. Pretty good place to start, right? Here's what they say. We've discovered that the more we master our scripts and dialogues, the better our conversion rates are. Wow. There it is. You want to take more listings? Master those conversations. Now, I'm going to go from, excuse me 1 second when I get to my notes. Step 1, take notes. Create opportunity by connecting through value and care. How do I go from where I am right here to where I want to go right here? How do I go from 4 homes sold through the first half of the year to 24 sold by the end of December? All right, cool. Step number 1, create opportunity by connecting through value and care. Step 2, go on appointments without judgment. We judge opportunity away. Now, if you're coaching with Mike Ferry, he would tell you qualify, qualify, qualify. In other words, don't go on the appointment unless the seller is ready, willing, and able to list their house. And I'm going to tell you, sure, that works, and not the path I'm following. The path I'm following is I'm going to go on every single appointment. If I'm talking to Victoria and she's thinking of selling her house, I'm going. If she's selling her home by owner, I'm going. If she has an expired listing and she's decided not to sell her home, she's never going to sell her home. However, I ask her the closing question, which is, hey, Victoria, just before I let you go, if I had a full price offer today, would you want me to bring you the offer?
Yeah.
And yeah, I hear, yeah, that's exactly why we should get together. You see, Victoria, if I never see your home, then I'm never going to bring you an offer. I mean, that makes sense, right? What are they going to say to that? No, that makes no sense at all. It's a tie down, and I'm getting them to say, yes, guys, words matter. So if I never see your home, then I'm never going to bring you an offer. I mean, that makes sense, right? And by seeing your home, there's a possibility that I could bring you an offer. I mean, what do you have to lose by giving me 30 minutes to pop by and take a look at your home? Nothing. Cool. So does today at 4 o'clock work, or would 5 be better for you? Awesome. To that 4 about sell by owner that says, I'm never going to list my home and I'm not paying more than 1%. Cool. Does 4 o'clock today work, or would 5 be better for you? I'm not going to judge the opportunity away. To the 4 sell by owner who's asking $500,000 for their home, and I know it's not worth more than $400,000, I'm not going to go, this person's out of their mind. I'm not going on the appointment. I'm still going to go because I'm a curiosity. So I'm not judging appointments away. So step 2, go on appointments without judgment. Step 3, build relationships through service. And that starts the moment I show up at your front door. It continues as I tour your home based on the questions that I ask. And it continues in our exit conversation and in our follow-up conversations. And I'll get to that in just a little bit. Step 4, follow up to create emotional proximity. And emotional proximity simply means the person who is closest to the individual when they decide to put their home on the market is the one who's going to get the listing. The real estate agent who's closest to the buyer when they decide it's time to buy a home is the one who's going to get the sale. Create emotional proximity through follow-up. All right, so get the appointment. I'm calling today because I noticed your listing came off the market. Just curious, if I had a full price offer, would you want me to bring you the offer? Right?
Yes.
Yeah, of course. That's exactly why we should get together. Now, what are the objections you're going to hear? I've decided not to sell my home. Yeah, I understand. And before I let you go, just curious, if your home would have sold, where were you moving to? You see, the reason I'm asking you that is I have a lot of homes on the market, and it's part of my job to get those properties sold. I mean, this is what I do for the people who hire me. I mean, after all, if you were to hire me, that's exactly what you would want me to do for you, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. And if I had a full price offer today, just curious, would you want me to bring you the offer? Yeah, of course. To the for sale by owner, we've already gone over that. To the circle prospecting call. I'm calling today because we sold a home in your neighborhood, which is great news. And our challenge now is there are not very many homes for sale. Matter of fact, there's hardly any. And there are buyers who are interested in great homes like yours. And just curious, who do you know that might be thinking of selling their home? I can't think of anybody. Well, I appreciate you taking a moment to think about that. And before I let you go, I like to keep my friends and family members updated on the market. And that simply means I bring them, I send them information once a month. It's great, valuable information on the real estate market. And I call like every 3 or 4 months. Would it be okay if I added you to that group? Okay, now, sorry guys, looking at my notes. When you go on appointments, if the purpose of the call is to get an appointment, and that's the only purpose of the call, make sure you heard that. The purpose of the call is to go on the appointment. If the purpose of the call is to go on the appointment, the purpose of the appointment is to look for opportunity and to build a relationship. In other words, I'm going to show up at your front door and I'm simply going to start with, thank you for inviting me over. I am so excited to be here. We had an appointment for 4 o'clock and it's 4 o'clock. May I come in? Now, what I would love for you to do is take me on a tour of your home. Every single word of this is a script, guys. Every single word. What I would like to do now, if you would please, is take me on a tour of your home. Matter of fact, pretend I'm a buyer and show me your home the same way you would if I was a buyer. You know, I'm going to take lots of notes and I'll ask some questions because this is the information that I'm going to use to help you sell your home. Now, let me go back to what I said earlier. Build relationships through service. I am demonstrating from the moment I show up at your door that I am in the business of serving. I am here to serve you. I am not here to list your home. I am here to help you sell your home. Sellers, when they meet with you, are asking themselves 3 questions. The 3 questions they're asking themselves are, can I trust you? Do you care about me? Versus, do you care about you? And do you know what you're doing? So again, I'll find my notes. Hold on one second. Build relationships through service. Sorry about that. Okay, so as we're touring your home, I'm asking lots of questions. I'm taking lots of notes, and I'm enthusiastic, and I like your home. So important. Now, before I leave, I'm simply going to ask, hey, Eddie, before I leave, is it okay if I ask you a question? You know, in my experience, most for sale by owners, most expired listings, most people who had their home on the market that didn't sell, most people who are thinking of selling their home, you can change this script for any situation. Have a game plan for how long before they hire a professional like me. Just out of curiosity, what's your game plan? Curiosity, guys. I'm just asking a curiosity question. Now, they may say a month. They may say a week. They may say, if it doesn't sell over the weekend, I'm listing it on Monday. And by the way, they're not going to volunteer that information unless you ask. I mean, Alex, if you go on an appointment and you're walking out the front door, they're not going to say, hey, Alex, before you leave, just so you know, if it doesn't sell over the weekend, we're listing our house on Monday. They're not going to do that. But if you ask, they'll tell you. Now, next question. In my experience, this is for sale by owner. Most for sale by owners are selling their home by owner in order to save on the fee. Is that why you're selling your home by owner? They're going to say, yes, sure, of course. That makes sense. People have basic needs. One of those basic needs is to be right, to be understood. So that makes sense. You're right. And I know that if I want to change their base, this is a paradigm shift. I know that if a real estate agent brought you a buyer, you would pay them 3%. I mean, after all, that's what you told me on the phone, correct? Sure. So the difference between selling your home on your own Or working with a professional like me is just 3%, not 6%, correct? Now, I'm just gonna drop a bomb and walk away. In other words, that's something that they're gonna think about later on, because people will never change their mind. In other words, oh, I've just decided, yeah, you know, would you like to list your home? Okay, I changed my mind, I'm hired. No, that's not gonna happen. What they will do is make a new decision based on new information. Hold on. Sorry. 6.2 miles this morning and 100% humidity, and I'm talking 100 miles an hour, so I'm running out of gas. What they will do is make a new decision based on new information, and you're providing them new information. Now, by the way, you're providing them new information that may not register until 30 days from now.
Mhm.
Which means if they don't get it immediately and go, wow, never thought about that, maybe we should talk, it doesn't mean that 30 days from now they might think, you know, that made sense. Maybe I should get out, maybe I should talk to Alex and see what he would do to sell my home. Now, before I leave, two things. Number one, I'm super good at follow-up, which means I'm going to persistently follow up with you. I'm not pushy, and I'm really persistent. I'm setting the stage for follow-up in order to create emotional proximity. All right, follow-up call number one. By the way, this is recorded. It will be on YouTube, and yes, you could go back and write down every single word I'm saying. Follow-up call number one. Good morning, Alex. This is John Dietz following up as promised. I told you I'm good at follow-up. This is not script. This is just you and I talking. I told Alex that I'm good at follow-up, which most real estate agents aren't. Do you care about me? Can I trust you? When we don't follow up, can they trust us? No. This is John Dietz following up as promised. I just wanted to say thank you for the opportunity to see your home yesterday. You have an absolutely beautiful home, and I'm confident it'll sell. And I wanted to see if you had any questions for me. That's it. If they have questions, answer their questions. And thank them for the opportunity and let them know you're going to call again because you're good at follow-up. Call number two. Approximately 5 days later. So I've followed up with you twice in 1 week. Alex, John Dietz, following up as promised. Just wanted to check in and see how are things going. Open question. Now they can talk about anything they want. And if you hear everything is going great, then your answer to that is awesome. I'll talk to you next week. That's it. Week number 2. Hey, Victoria, John Dietz, following up as promised. Just wanted to check in and see, is your home still for sale? Have you had any offers? What kind of feedback are you hearing? Have a conversation around those 3 questions. Thank them for taking your call and move on. Week number 3. Hey, Eddie, John Dietz, following up as promised. Just wanted to check in and see how things are going. Let them talk. Now, if you just hear great, your response to that is, that's awesome. I'm so glad to hear that. Have you had any offers? What kind of feedback are you hearing? How's the activity? Are you getting lots of showings? Week 4. Yeah, that's right. Hey, Tamika, John Dietz, following up as promised. Week 4 is the same thing as week 3. Now I'm going to back down to every other week and eventually once a month. And these calls are just, good morning, good afternoon, blank. This is blank with Keller Williams Realty, following up as promised, just checking in to see how things are going. That's it. Let them have a conversation with you. I'm going to call you again. It's the same conversation. Hey, Eddie, John Dietz, following up as promised, just checking in to see how things are going. By the way, 8 months later, it's the same call. I'm never going to list my home. Cool. Talk to you in a month. If I ever do list my home, I'm listing with Bob. Awesome. Talk to you in a month. John, I told you I'm never going to list my home. You don't need to keep calling. Cool. Talk to you in a month. All right. Talk to me.
John, I do exactly what you said. And I don't stop till they tell me to stop.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love that. And I think I'm going to still keep going until maybe they call the police on me and the police call me and tell me to stop calling, which has happened before, by the way. You guys know that story. I'm going to keep calling. I got nothing to lose.
I have a question. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah.
John, I have a question. If after week 2, they're not taking the call, am I just leaving a voice message? It's Shirley just calling to follow up as I said it would.
Shirley, I'm so glad you asked that question. Always leave a voicemail. Your voicemail is a postcard in your farming. The purpose of a postcard in your farming is so that they think of you when they think of real estate. Even if they're annoyed, I want them to think of me.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's, oh my gosh, it's that darn John Dietz calling again. I want them to think of me. Because 6 months from now, they're gonna have a conversation with one another, husband and wife, the couple, partners, they're in the kitchen, they're talking, and they're like, you know, probably time to hire a real estate agent. Who should we call? How about that darn John Dietz? He was a pain in the butt, but he was persistent. That's what we're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, John Dietz, pain in the butt. What would you do to sell my home? So, and Shirley, I would also send a text message, right? Voicemail and text message, yeah. And the longest it took me, by the way, from the first appointment to they hired me was 3 years and 89 phone calls. And for 1.5 years, they didn't pick up the phone. By the way, that was a seller who said they were never going to hire me. And they also told me that if they ever did list their house, this was an expired listing. If they ever did list their house, they would rehire the agent they had before. Cool. Talk to you in a month. And 3 years later, 89 calls later. Hey, John, just out of curiosity, what would you do to sell our house? Time to be a hunter. Time to go from being a farmer to being a hunter. It's go time.
John, to follow up on Shirley's question, because that was sort of my question as well, but based on the information you told us regarding follow-up number 1, number 2, because it's very possible they never answer the phone. And so do you leave those specific, like what you were saying, like the first phone call, well, if you don't meet them.
Diane, they won't listen to the whole message. I'm sorry for cutting you off. I just did it because of the amount of time and I know what the question is.
Yeah, that's what I want to know.
I know what you're going to ask. So the voicemail is simply, hey, this is John Dietz with Keller Williams following up as promised. Please give me a call at my phone number. That's it. That's it. Yeah.
And a text?
Yes. And the text message is the same thing. It's the same message. Hey, this is John Dietz following up as promised. Look forward to hearing from you. Blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
John, it took you 89 minutes to get the listing and he said no, he won't list with you.
Say that one more time.
It only took you 89 minutes, even though 3 years later, but 89 minutes to get that listing.
That is true. Yeah. That is absolutely true. Time invested 89 minutes. Return $15,000. It's a good return on investment.
Wow.
John,
Hey,
I have a question.
Yes, talk to me.
Yes, it's David. I know that usually with prospecting every day, you get a lot of leads that go into the funnel. What was your process to not allow the bad leads to cloud the good leads, if that makes sense, if you know what I'm trying to say?
They're all the same to me. There are no bad leads.
Okay.
So for me, you're just a phone call. You're one of many calls. I could have, if I'm hitting my numbers, and my numbers as a real estate agent were 2 appointments a day, 10 a week, 40 a month, which means at the end of the year, I've got 480 people that I'm following up with. You're one of 480 people. You're just the next call. I have absolutely no emotion, no judgment into the call. I'm not thinking. I'm just dialing the phone, script.
Got it. And what I'm hearing with all this is just persistence and being consistent, and and care, compassion, and common sense when you call them. So
Yeah, 100%. Good job. Love that. All right.
John,
Yes, talk to me.
on the one, on the call when you ask them what are you hearing for feedback, and you ask them that question, and if they say, oh, everyone's saying the house is lovely and we're sure we're going to sell it, do you ever use that script that says, that's great, would it be helpful to you if I dropped off a sheet and everyone that comes to the house can sign in, and I'm happy to call them back for you to get real feedback, and go into that whole thing of, sometimes people are not going to tell the sellers the honest, give them honest feedback. Would you go into that with them, or is that too much?
Nope, not too much. And Nadine, there's 2 responses to that. Wow, everybody loves your home. That's awesome. How many offers have you gotten?
It's true.
0.
And I saw Shirley put that in the chat. HMMMMMM is a script. It'll be the easiest script you ever learn. Just curious, is it possible that you're hearing everybody loves your home because you own the home?
Mm-hmm.
I wonder what they would say if I called them. Would you like me to call and get feedback for you and see what they tell me? Matter of fact, I could drop off a sign-in sheet for you, and once a week I could pick up the sign-in sheet and I could call everybody who saw your home and get feedback for you. Would you like for me to do that for you?
That would be awesome, John.
Yes, I'll see you tomorrow, 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock. Now, let's close with this. In addition to, do you care about me? Can I trust you? Lead with care, provide service. You're doing all of those things. And what else do you have? What else do you have in your hands?
A list of buyer leads.
Hallelujah. Yes. All right, guys, it's Friday. Get on the phone. 20 contacts, not 19, not 18, 20. If you're swimming 3 miles to shore, 2.9 miles, you're still dead. You've got 3 miles to go. 20 contacts. Get your 20 contacts. Don't settle. Get 1 appointment minimum. You're not done until somebody agrees to meet with you. Add 1 person to your database. You're not done until you've added 1 new person to your database. Write 5 handwritten personal notes. You're not done until you've written 5 handwritten personal notes, and follow up forever. Make it a great day.
Thank you.
Good weekend, John.
Thank you, John. Have a great weekend, everyone.